This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Let's get your washing machine draining again. We're going to cover some of the most common types of washing machines and how you can get them easily draining again. It doesn't take many tools. We'll have different videos showing the different repairs. And prior to the clip, the video, there'll be a section where you can see your particular model. And we'll show it up here in the corner, one like this. And then when you see that part during fast forward, just stop. Watch that clip about your machine. You can also look in the timeline here below the video that'll show the different machines we're going to be showing on how to fix the drain, and you'll see yours right there, and you can go right to that one. Please stay till the end. We're going to go over some really simple things you can do to prevent your washing machine from getting clogged where it stops draining. So easy to prevent if you know what to do. If your washing machine is not spinning, it could be that it's just full of water. So by fixing the drain, that'll also often fix your spin problem. If your washing machine is not shown in this video, can you please leave your model number in the comments below, and I'll get back to you and go over with you how you can do the same type of repair for your machine. Let's get started. Here's a quick look at the different machines that we'll be working on in this video. Some are front loaders and some are top loaders. Some are pretty new models and some go back as far as to 1970. The first one we're going to do is a little more recent. It's the LG and Samsung washing machine. Today we have a Samsung washing machine that isn't draining, and this could also be true for the LG washing machine. They're very similar. Down in the lower left-hand corner, there's a little door that you can open up, and there's a thing in there called the coin trap, and sometimes it's clogged with debris. Pretty easy to take care of it. All you got to do is open up that door by pushing in on it. It should spring open, and then you can drain out using this little tube any water that might be in there. You might have to do this maybe even up to 10 times to get rid of all the water. Make sure you got all the water out of this little tube, and then unscrew the coin trap. You may find there's a bunch of junk caught in there. Sometimes though, even though you clean out the coin trap, there's actually something caught a little further in. Behind the coin trap, there's a little tube. Look in there carefully, you may find something caught. In this particular machine, the coin trap was cleared of some debris, but it still wouldn't drain. And behind that coin trap in a little tube, there was a small baby sock. I was able to pull it out with a pair of long needle nose pliers, but you could even use something like an extended coat hanger with a hook, and you could reach in and pull out. Sometimes these little things get caught in there and prevent the machine from draining. That's actually the tube where the water goes from the tub over to the drain motor before it exits. So here's the needle nose pliers pulling out the little baby sock, and that got this machine going in less than 5 minutes. So hopefully this will help you with your machine too. Sometimes it's actually the drain motor is no longer working, but oftentimes it's some kind of an obstacle. Hope that helps you. Next up is the Whirlpool front loader that won't drain. This will be pretty easy for us to fix real quick. Today we have a Whirlpool washing machine that isn't draining, or it might be draining slowly. You might even get an error message. So this is pretty easy repair. I've lifted the machine up onto my plastic case to give me a little bit more room to take off this front panel. It just helps you to get into where the 1/4-inch screws are. And once you remove those, you can pull the panel off. And then you have a nice little coin trap here. Hey guys, can you take just a second to click on the subscription link below? It really helps our channel, and also the bell notification, so every time we make a new video, we can send it right to you. We make a new video about once every week. Really appreciate that. And if you give us a thumbs up, it'd be great. Thank you. You can pull out. You might find that there's some stuff caught in there that's just keeping it from draining fast enough. And it's just barely draining the water. So I'm going to put the front panel underneath where the coin trap is, and then I'll open up the coin trap and let some of that water drain into the front panel, and then I can dump that water out. Could also use a bucket, but this fits in really good right underneath this coin trap. This is a really cool design. You just grab this and counterclockwise and the water will come out. Be a little careful though. If you feel like too much water is coming out, you can just tighten it back up and that'll stop the water. So I just had a little water left in there, pulled the coin trap out, and then I noticed there's this big sticker that was in there, and I think that was keeping it from draining. And there's some coins and bobby pins and stuff. That's normal. I've often found socks get pulled in here and cause it to not drain, especially like small baby socks. Like for a newborn is very common. I'm reaching in with my finger into the right where there's a little hole, and there's a drain impeller in there that I want to feel that it can turn. Sometimes you can get like a rubber band or a hair tie wrapped around the impeller and then it won't turn. It's easy to fix though. You can actually grab it with some needle nose pliers. This one, the impeller was turning really good, so it's just that big sticker was in the way. So I'm just going to turn this now clockwise as tight as I can so it's a nice watertight seal, and I'll dump out this water and then put everything back together, and I think we're going to be fine. So these machines have a certain amount of time that the computer or the software wants all the water to have drained out, and once you get this debris out of the coin trap, it usually does the job. Pretty seldom do you ever have to replace the drain motor. It does happen, but it's not too often. So I'm putting the front panel back on, pushed it in really hard to give it a little bit of a heel of hand to lock it in, and I'll put those two screws back in. Again, here's the things that were in there again. Sticker and a bunch of coins. Next is a Whirlpool Series 80 top loader. This is a direct drive Series 70, 80, or 90. And when we put it to spin, we can hear it humming, but it won't spin. The spin basket doesn't move. We just hear the motor humming. And this is due to something being caught in the water pump, usually a sock or something like that. So we're going to clear it out. There's a lot of water still in the tub. So if you have a clamp, you can clamp off the drain hose, or if you don't, you should try to get all that water out by using like a cup. I'm just checking it out again here. I got it set for spin. I pulled out the dial and pushing in on the lid switch. Just get a humming sound. If I grab the spin basket and push it a little bit, it does move. You can tell the motor's trying to move it, but it's jammed up, and that's again due to something being caught in the water pump. So we're going to unplug it. We're going to take off the top console. We just pull these trim pieces off on the right and left side. Just pull them directly towards you. And you have to remove two Phillips head screws. They're kind of weird. They're in at a 45-degree angle in the lower left and lower right-hand corner of the console. And once you spin those out, you can grab the whole console and you can tilt it up and get it out of the way. It's pretty cool. It hinges at the top. Little things called dog ears that hold it into the cabinet, but you can just pull it towards you and lift and it'll release. And now we have to unhook this little switch here. This is the lid switch assembly. We take a standard head screwdriver and pry up on these brass clips. This comes apart really cool, really fast. And now you can actually grab the whole cabinet and pull it towards you. Grab it from the front and lift it at an angle and just pull it out away. And that'll give you access to a lot of the components on the direct drive machine. The one we need to get to is the water pump, which is located right here in the front. I'm putting a clamp on the upper hose. That brings water from the tub down to the pump. You can just, again, get the water out with a cup so less of it spills. Take a standard head screwdriver to remove the pump. First though, I'll use just regular pliers to press in on these hose clamps. I'm going to remove the bottom one first. I'll pull the hose off, and even though I've clamped it, some water is going to come out, so it'd be good to have a towel down there to catch the water. It's just the water inside the drain line. And now I'm going to remove the upper one. Same thing, I'll clamp it, loosen it, pull it off of the hose. Sometimes these hoses are kind of stuck, but if you take a standard head screwdriver and just pry it in between the pump and the hose, you can loosen it, and then you can get that hose off.
Again, a little bit of water will come out. If you don't have a clamp, a ton of water will come out, and you don't want that. So it's good to get all that water out first. So now I'm just prying up on these little spring clips, and then that whole pump's going to come right off. Really easy. This is a super clever design. And I look in there and I can tell something's caught in the impeller, the thing that spins, the part of the pump that creates the water pressure. And I'm going to use a standard head screwdriver to kind of pull it out. It looks like it's probably a nylon pantyhose or maybe like a nylon sock. So I'm just grabbing that and pulling on it to try to get out as much of this junk as I can. If you have needle nose pliers, that'll work really good for getting that stuff out. These vice grip ones are a little too thick, so I'm going to use some skinnier ones. I'm just going to grab and then pull, and I'll keep doing that until I get all that stuff out. The way to avoid this from happening is just to put these little things like small underwear or bras or something like this, like a nylon, in a nylon zip bag that are designed to hold these fragile things, and then they can't get pulled into the pump. So we got that out, and I'm just spinning the impeller to make sure it can move freely. So it looks great. So the impeller's not damaged. These are really tough. It just had something caught in there. So now I'm just going to reinstall it. I'm going to line up the shaft of the motor to fit inside the pump, get that all lined up, and I'll just push it back in. I'll put the clips back on. They're really cool. They're just spring loaded. Easy to do. Put the hoses back on, and then we should be good to go. These are some of my very favorite type of washing machines to work on. They're so cleverly put together, and they last a long time. I had one in my house that lasted 22 years. So I'm putting that hose clamp back on. Here's the bottom. Hose goes back on. Put the hose clamp, grab it with your pliers, pull it towards you. Make sure those are on tight. I'm going to release the clamp. Make sure you remove the clamp before you put it back together. Otherwise it won't work. And now we're going to slide the cabinet back in. We just lift it up. Open. I usually lift the lid up so I can get a grip on it. And then I put it in at about 45-degree angles. I put the bottom lip of the cabinet up against the metal frame, push it in as far as I can go, and then I let it just settle back to a level position. I'm going to lift up on the console to get it out of the way. So I'm letting that cabinet just sit back in there, and I'll put the clips back on. They just slip in underneath the back plate, and then you push them down really hard and they just lock in. Really clever design. Never seen this on any other type of machine. It goes in, clips down, and it locks it in really well. You got to make sure you put your lid switch connector back in, this little modular connector, otherwise it won't start. We're going to put the console back down. We're going to get the little dog ears to fit into the cabinet, and we'll put those two Phillips head screws back in at about 45 degrees, kind of long screws. I wish they still made this machine, but I guess it was lasting too long, so Whirlpool decided not to make them anymore. They're really easy to work on, really, really well engineered. So we're going to put these clips back on, the trim plates, they just snap on really easy. We'll plug it in, give it a test, set it for spin, pull it on the dial. Yeah, now we can hear it draining. That's great, all done.
Next is an Electrolux front loader that isn't draining.
This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we have an Electrolux washing machine that has a slow drain error and also just is not spinning, and it's due to a clog in the drain. So we have unplugged it, we have it tilted back at 45 degrees against the wall. Make sure you have something underneath to brace it, and we're going to have a Phillips head screwdriver hooked to a ratchet so we can undo this clamp that is holding on this hose or this rubber boot below the tub. Inside that boot there is a filter that holds things that come through the wash, and I think it's probably clogged. So we're going to undo that, and then we're going to pull back, and I just pulled out a little baby sock. And now I have the boot off, and I'm pulling more junk out, and I'm going to grab the filter inside the boot, and I'm going to kind of wiggle it out of the boot. It's a big plastic filter, and then see what other junk is in there. So I have a flashlight in here so I can see what I'm doing, and I'm coming in from underneath the washing machine. Just make sure that this thing's not going to fall on you when you push it back to 45 degrees. So here's the filter comes out, and inside I notice there's more baby socks, and there's also a small plastic garbage bag. So it was really limiting how much water could get through the drain, and it was causing all kinds of errors, and that's all it is, just full of junk. So we clean that up. We're going to put that back into the boot, and then we're just going to put the clamp around the boot and push that boot back up onto the tub, and make sure you push it way up onto that tub as far as it'll go while you're tightening the clamp. And this part might take a little while, so take your time, a little bit tricky, and get that clamp really tight so that that boot can't come off during the wash cycle. So I got it pushed up on there hard. I'm going to take my Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm going to get that really tight. Again, make sure you're pushing it up in there.
Next is our oldest of all the washers. This is a Maytag top loader from the 1970s. So this one's not draining, and I think something's caught in the pump.
Make sure to unplug it first.
So we tilt it back, took the belt off of the pump. It just slips right off. This is the pump, and this guy should be able to turn really freely, but can turn pretty far in one direction and the other direction, but then it gets frozen up. I think something's caught in the impeller, so we're going to fix that. Pretty easy to do. And we'll replace the belt. I've got it unplugged, and I've got it leaning back 45 degrees against the wall. Spin these off. This allows us to take off the front panel so we can get to the pump. When you lean it back like that too, it also gets a lot of the water away from the pump. So less water will spill. I'm going to lift this out about 45 degrees. It'll disconnect. There's the pump. I think something's caught right here. I got a feeling. You can even see it sometimes. Oh yeah, there it is. So it looks like probably some type of underwear got caught, got pulled down through from the tank, and is stuck in there. So I'm going to clamp this, remove this hose, and then I'll pull out that thing, whatever it is. I'm going to push it so it's close to that hole. Use this clamp to cut off the water coming from the tank. Probably still be some water that'll leak out though from this one. And use this to remove this clamp. Takes the pressure off of it. And these clamps are kind of hard to get off because they get kind of stuck. I'll use a pair of pliers to kind of wiggle it back and forth and loosen it up. There we go, getting somewhere. Get my needle nose pliers ready to take out that thing, whatever it is. Okay, let's get this hose off. Here we go. There's our item right there. Pull that out. So this got sucked in there. Just a sock. Put that back on. Tighten that back up. Take the clamp off. We will not need a new pump. Okay. So you get two belts. They're a little bit different. One is for, should be different. One is for the pump. Take these off. So take them off. We're just gonna spin it. It comes right off. See how the motor can kind of move, right? So that takes the pressure off. That out of there. Put on the new one for the driving from the motor, driving the big pulley. We use the thicker one. See, they're this one's a little bit thicker. So we're going to put that over the top pulley on the motor, and then we'll put it on, and then we're just going to turn it a little bit, and it'll self-feed. It'll just go right on. Really cool. And we're going to do that for the pump too. We're going to put it over the motor, and then get it over the pump, and then just turn the pump, and then it feeds right on. See, now the pump can spin normally, and that means it should be able to drain. We'll give it a test. Bring it back forward. All right, everything's hooked up. Got to plug it back in. Plug that back in. So this is spinning fast, getting rid of the water. That's the tub. The spin basket's spinning. Looks good. Yep, there we go. So just a sock was caught in there. Pretty common. And that usually comes from when the machine gets overloaded. So there's so much clothing put in here that some stuff, especially small things like socks, get up here. There's a gap between the basket and the tub, and that's where the little socks go. And they end up on the other side of the spin basket. There's the tub and the gap. You get pulled down in there, get sucked down through this tube, and get caught in the pump, and the pump won't work. And if we can't drain, it won't spin. So it's a classic problem, but pretty easy to fix. We just removed this clamp, pulled this off, and we were able to just pull the obstruction right out. Yeah. All right, so we'll put this panel back on. We're just going to line it up 45 degrees, and then close it. Put those screws back in. These are just Phillips head screws. They go in at about 45-degree angle. There's one. There's two. And we are done. Test it one more time. Spinning really good. Yep. Draining good. Got it. Thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe. Next is a very modern vertical modular washer that's not draining. Today we've got a VR washing machine, vertical modular washing machine with the 6 lights across the front that isn't draining, made by Whirlpool and Maytag, a couple other companies. This will be pretty easy to fix. If we look over here to the left, this is the drain motor. This is looking from the upside down from underneath the washer. We're going to turn off the washer valves and remove the washer hoses. Then we'll tilt the washer back against the wall about 45 degrees. And right here in front of us is the drain motor. Put a link in the description if you need a new one. Usually you don't need a new one. You probably just have something clogged there. We're going to need to remove these 4 bolts that are holding it on. And then we're going to be removing this part by peeling it back, and then we take off the modular wire connector. We'll take out these bolts, and once we take them out, we'll be able to squeeze in with pliers on this hose clamp and then pull it back, and then we can pull off the hose, get the electrical connector off,
And then you'll be able to pull the pump off, and you can see where my finger's pointing. There might be some stuff caught there, like a clothing item. You can just grab some pliers and pull that on out. And then it's just a matter of putting it all back together. So we'll put the pump back on. We'll put those bolts back in to hold it on. After that, we'll put the hose back on to slide it on. You might want to look inside the hose, make sure there's nothing caught in there. And then you can squeeze in on that red hose clamp with some pliers, and you're done. Next is a Whirlpool Series 80 that won't drain, that we're going to fix using a zip tie.
This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with a Whirlpool washing machine that won't spin and it won't drain. And this is a really easy fix. All we're going to do is repair the lid switch by using a couple of zip ties. You could probably get away with using just one. So I just tested the switch with a screwdriver, set it spin. There's no result. So I think the switch has probably fallen apart. So I'm going to unplug it, and then I'll do a real quick repair of the switch to try to get it put back into one piece. I'll take a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm just going to remove two screws here that hold the lid switch in place. And then you can grab the whole basket and push it to your right to give you a little bit more room. And you can reach up underneath and just pull the lid switch towards you. Make sure again that it's unplugged. So I'm just going to grab the switch, pull it toward me, and then it'll be pretty easy to fix it. Some switches have a little metal part that you have to remove before putting on the two zip ties. So this one does have the metal piece, but it's pretty easy to fix. You just take a standard head screwdriver and pry off this little metal piece, because the metal piece doesn't do any good. It doesn't really serve much purpose. You don't really need it. So I'm just going to pop it off, and the switch case has kind of fallen apart into two pieces, so it doesn't click anymore, and that's because the glue failed. So I'm going to use the zip tie to take place of the glue. This will actually make it way stronger than any brand new lid switch you could buy, because the new lid switch will have the same problem where the glue fails. So I'm going to wrap around the zip tie. I'll pull it as tight as I can, and then I'll use some pliers to pull it even tighter. Then I'll just cut away the excess. So one zip tie will be fine. I like to use two. I put them about maybe a 1/4 inch apart. Pulling that tight, again, just with my finger strength, but I'll use the pliers to go a little bit further, maybe like two clicks on the zip tie further. You can feel it as you go a little bit further, it gets tighter. And these switches fall apart as the glue just gets old and breaks, or the lid falls so quickly that the little pin on the lid actually breaks the glue. Sometimes the lid will slip out of your hand and just fall too fast. So I'm going to put another one in to make it twice as strong. Some of the YouTube viewers have actually fixed this with other things. If they didn't have the zip tie, a few people just taped it shut, which would work. Somebody used a garbage tie that worked. So anything that'll keep the two halves of the lid switch pressed together. But a zip tie is super strong, so I think that's the best way to go. And they only cost a couple pennies. Great little invention. So I'm just pulling that second one really tight with pliers, and then I'll use some diagonal pliers. You could use scissors or a razor knife to cut off the excess. And then we just put the switch back into position and we tighten the screws, and you're done. And you don't need that many tools, and this will only take you probably 15 minutes max. I think in this case it probably took maybe 5.5 minutes to get this whole thing done. So we're just zipping in those Phillips head screws. And unless the lid switch is working, it won't drain and it won't spin. So this actually gets both of those functions going for you. And these Whirlpool washing machines are great. They can last over 20 years if you take good care of them. The common thing that breaks is that lid switch. So that's the little pin that can break the switch when it falls too fast. Okay, we're going to plug it in, make sure it's going to work. So we'll set it for a spin, pull it out, and I can hear it working, plus you can see the water shooting out. So all the functions are back to normal, and we've got a washing machine that'll probably last another 10 years.
The last one today is a Whirlpool front loader where the drain accesses through the back. We have a Whirlpool direct drive washer. The system is trying to drain it, but I think the drain may be somewhat obstructed or fully obstructed. So in this model, I believe what I need to do to get to the coin trap is unplug it and then go in from the back. The back panel comes off pretty readily, pretty quick. And then I think I can get to what they call the coin trap and undo it and pull out anything that might be in there. Now when I undo it, probably some water is going to come out, so I need to be prepared for that. So I'm going to unplug it, pull the machine away from the wall. So we're going to take off this back panel, and these are 1/4-inch screws. We're just going to pull out these perimeter screws. Just take a second to do. Some of these we don't pull out though. If you notice there's a cutaway, you don't have to pull out that one, but just the ones that are holding on this panel, and there's one there also. Let's get those. All the screws are out, so we should be able to get this panel off. And then this is a direct drive system, so it doesn't have a belt. This is actually the motor here. Coin trap's down here. It's this round thing, and I got to be prepared for a little water to come out when I open that. So I'm going to go lefty loosey on this thing. There, it's moving, and a little water is going to leak out. And there's not much in there. It looks pretty good. Let's see if there's. I'm going to reach in here and see if I feel anything blocking it. Pretty clean. Of an obstruction here in this drain hose. So it leaves here, goes up. So I'm going to pull this hose off right here, and I'm going to look to see if there might be something hiding in there. Drain system, wherever there's a turn, you're going to tend to get things stuck. So this is one you can check too. Take off the hose clamp, kind of twist this thing towards you and pull. Just look in there. It looks great. Bit of something green right there, but I think it's just a speck of dirt. I don't think there's anything in there. I'll put that one back on. So just tighten with the hose clamp, tighten this pliers, put that back on. We're gonna do the one down here where the drain tube leaves the drain. Same concept though. We're gonna just use our pliers, undo this one that's on opposite. Instead of vacuum, it's blowing, and you go to this end. You can blow air through, and if the air can readily move through it, you know there's no blockage. If you use your mouth, you got to protect your mouth somehow so you're not going to get any of that sewage on you. This one's coming off. We're just going to peer in there, make sure it's cool. This little thing is a one-way valve, so you just use your finger, push in, make sure it can move. That's moving really good. So I'm going to put the coin trap back in too. Didn't see any obstructions in there at all. It seemed pretty clean. So I'm going to make sure there's nothing in the treads here for the screw to go back in. You put this in like this, coming into the machine, and then I'll go righty-tighty to tighten it. And I want to get it pretty tight, so I want to keep going until this tab locks into here. So that just limits how far it can go. I think we got it. I'm going to put the drain hose back on and get this depressed with some pliers. I actually make pliers that are designed just for hose clamps. It makes it even easier. But these will work fine. Get that on there tight. Alright, that's looking good. So I'm going to leave the back off and hook everything back up and test out the drain motor. I want to make sure I don't have any leaks before I put the back cover back on.
I'm just going to try drain and spin because I think it's already done. It just needs to be spun out. So we go there, go to drain and spin. 14-minute cycle, turn it on. So we get the door lock, we should get drain function, and then we should get this thing to spin out. And that centrifugal force will create more water, and the drain should kick it out. I'll look inside too to see if I get any leaks. I can hear the drains active, but there's no water in there, so you don't really hear it sloshing around. So now it's going to start its spin cycle. And the faster it goes, the more centrifugal force will throw the water out into the spin basket. It'll get caught in the tub. It'll go down, it'll hit the drain motor, and the drain motor will kick it out. I'm going to go check it out from the other side. It's kind of fun to see the motor here spinning, picking up speed. It's rocking a little bit because it's a bit unsteady. Sometimes if the machine interprets a rock like that, it'll actually stop the spin cycle because it's worried it's going to hurt the machine. It's going to try to hold it down. I want to make sure the drain motor isn't leaking. Part of the software is it'll spin in 2 different directions to try to get the load more evenly distributed. And then if it can spin without much shaking, it'll go faster and faster. But if it gets a lot of shaking, it may continue to do this back and forth rather than a high-speed spin. That's just called load distribution. Pick it up a little speed now. And then the drain will kick in again because it's thinking, well, I'm going fast enough to create some centrifugal force to create water, so we got to drain it out. That's pretty good speed. Box stabilizing the tub, and then it has the springs at the top, one there and one on the other side. So it's kind of floating on the shocks and the springs, and that's getting up some really good speed. Actually has chunks of concrete there too to help kind of keep it centered. Drain looks good though, no leaks. Going up super fast. Really cool design. It's draining really good. I don't see any leaks after the reassembly. Now we hear the dry sump spinning, but it's just hitting air, so the frequency changes, different sound. I'm just going to add all the screws back. We'll just put all the screws back in. Just getting all these screws back in. There's a lot of them, but they act as a part of the structure. There's so many, and this plate is so thick that it actually helps to keep the washer intact.
So hopefully you've been able to fix your washing machine that isn't draining. Now this is a little bit of bonus material that'll help to teach you some things you can do to prevent another clog where your washing machine isn't draining. One thing is to watch out for is the SD or suds error that's from too much detergent. If that happens, your machine won't drain. What you can do is add in a little bit of vinegar, and that'll pop all of the bubbles, and then the drain will be able to get rid of the water. The other big thing that happens is people tend to overload their washing machine, whether it's a front loader or a top loader. They just push too much stuff in, and like little socks and underwear will get past and get caught between the spin basket and the tub, and then it'll get sucked down into the drain, as we saw in some of these videos. Also, these little bra wires can work free from a bra, and they can get stuck in the drain motor and actually damage the impeller. Here's a bra wire right here. You can get a knit bag though, like these shown here. We have some in the description below, and you can put things like that or small underwear into a knit bag, and that'll prevent it from being pulled into the drain. Also, make sure you empty out all your pockets, because coins and paper clips, guitar picks, even like dollar bills can get sucked down
into the drain and prevent it from spinning. This is an example of some stuff that got pulled into the coin trap, and we want to avoid that, so you'll have a lifetime of good washing machine performance and no drain problems.
Thanks so much for watching our video. Please leave any comments or questions in the comment section below. We really appreciate that. We have a really nice video coming up for you right here that I think you'll enjoy, very similar, dealing with appliance repair. So thanks again for watching our video.
Please also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you really liked the video and it really helped you, please press this new applaud button and you can show your support and also get a nice clapping hands for your video. Thanks again.